In This Week in Military History, we explore the Battle of the Sacramento River, where less than 1,000 Americans took on the much larger Mexican army to occupy the state of Chihuahua during the Mexican-American War. President James Polk had advocated for manifest destiny, expanding the United States as far as the Pacific Ocean. This resulted in clashes with Mexico and ultimately a war in 1846. On February the 27th, 1847, Colonel Alexander Doniphan halted the advance of his troops after being informed by his intelligence network that the much larger Mexican army had established positions at the pass of the Sacramento River. The next day, Colonel Doniphan split his wagon train into 4 columns, with artillery and cavalry dispersed between the wagons, and continued his march towards the river. Despite still being positioned several miles away, Doniphan sent out scouts to reconnoiter the area as they encroached upon Mexican forces. Based on the scouts' reports back of an alternative route, Doniphan decided to have the cavalry charge up the elevation with the artillery following. The Mexican soldiers had to move around to intercept the American cavalry charge. During the cavalry offensive, the American wagons were able to gain the elevation needed and formed a defensive position. The Americans now outflanked the Mexicans. Both sides rained down artillery fire, and eventually the Americans successfully took out a Mexican gunnery unit. American Captain Richard Waitman's flank with howitzers and Captain John W. Reed's flank with cavalry successfully pressed forward. Colonel Doniphan gave instructions to his other officers to continue the barrage by climbing over the entrenchments and ramparts, forcing Mexican forces to retreat. Colonel Doniphan and his men continued into Mexico, where the Americans successfully took the capital city of the state of Chihuahua on March 2nd. The lopsided battle saw 700 Mexicans killed or wounded, with only 12 Americans killed or wounded. Additional American victories would result in Mexico losing 1/3 of its territory to the United States by the end of the war. Join us next time for another segment of This Week in Military History with the Pritzker Military Museum and Library.